The US Army's 75th Ranger Regiment is nothing more than an outdated relic of 20th century warfare, clinging to obsolete direct action tactics while the modern battlefield demands more. And the British Army Ranger Regiment is the most elite special operations force in the world, surpassing even the legendary US Army Rangers in selection standards, operational capability and tactical innovation. Both of these statements are complete rubbish, and if you believed either one, you've just demonstrated exactly why this comparison is going to be so controversial. The truth is, these two Ranger forces are so fundamentally different in mission, structure and capability that comparing them is like comparing a Formula 1 car to a main battle tank. Both are engineering marvels, but they're built for completely different purposes. But that's exactly why this comparison is going to have both British and American viewers absolutely losing their minds in the comments. So buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into the most contentious military comparison since we pitted the Royal Marines against the US Marines. Welcome back to the war. Let's start with the elephant in the room. That's going to have American viewers immediately typing furious comments. The British Army Ranger Regiment has existed for only 4 years. You heard that right. Formed on the 1st of December 2021 under the Future Soldier reform, the UK's Ranger Regiment is so new that some of their kit probably still has the price tags on it. Meanwhile, the US 75th Ranger Regiment traces its lineage back to 1942, with the modern regiment established in 1984. That's nearly 4 decades of continuous operations, refinement and combat experience. And here's where it gets interesting, and where British viewers are going to start defending their new regiment. The UK didn't just throw together 4 random battalions and call them Rangers. They took the 1st Battalion, Royal Regiment of Scotland, the 2nd Battalion, the Princess of Wales Royal Regiment, the 2nd Battalion, Duke of Lancaster's Regiment, and the 4th Battalion, the Rifles, all seasoned infantry units with their own distinguished histories, and transformed them into something entirely new. The Americans, however, will point out that their Rangers have been in continuous combat for over 7,000 days as of 2020. That's nearly 2 decades of non-stop operations in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria and classified locations around the globe. The British Rangers, by comparison, have conducted over 700 deployments since 2021. Impressive for a 4-year-old unit, but hardly comparable to the American track record. But wait, there's more controversy coming in the next chapter about what these deployments actually mean. Now here's a fact that's going to trigger debates about quality versus quantity. The entire British Army Ranger Regiment consists of approximately 1,000 personnel across 4 battalions. The US 75th Ranger Regiment consists of over 3,500 personnel with 3 line battalions plus specialised support units. American viewers will immediately jump to this. How can you even call it a comparison when the US Rangers are nearly 4 times larger? And they've got a point. The 75th Ranger Regiment is a massive complex organisation with a regimental military intelligence battalion, a special troops battalion and enough firepower to level a small city. But British supporters will counter with a classic quality over quantity argument. Each British Ranger battalion has roughly 250 personnel, making them smaller, more agile and theoretically more selective. The Americans counter-argue that their larger size allows for greater specialisation, more robust support capabilities and the ability to sustain operations across multiple theatres simultaneously. Here's where it gets really spicy. The British Rangers are organised into 11-man teams that mirror US Army Special Forces ODAs, not traditional Ranger squads. This isn't coincidence, it's a deliberate design choice that signals the UK's intention to operate more like Green Berets than traditional Rangers. The Americans will see this as mission creep, trying to be something they're not. The British will argue its evolution, adapting to modern warfare requirements that the Americans are too institutionally rigid to embrace. And speaking of missions, Chapter 3 is going to absolutely explode the comment section. This is where the gloves come off and the fundamental philosophical differences become clear. The US 75th Ranger Regiment is the Army's premier direct action raid force. They kick down doors, seize airfields, conduct hostage rescues and eliminate high-value targets. They're the hammer in America's Special Operations toolbox. The British Army Ranger Regiment? They're designed for grey zone operations, that murky space between peace and war where conventional forces are too heavy-handed and the traditional special forces are overkill. They train, advise and accompany partner forces in high-threat environments. American viewers are going to see this as the British admitting they can't handle real combat operations. Where were the British Rangers when we needed door kickers in Afghanistan, they'll ask. Still in training, apparently. But British supporters will argue that the Americans are fighting the last war while the UK is preparing for the next one. In an era of great power competition, the ability to build partner capacity and operate discreetly in contested environments is more valuable than the ability to conduct direct action raids. The controversy deepens when you consider combat records. US Rangers participated in D-Day, the raid on Cabanatuan, Grenada, Somalia and countless operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. They've earned their reputation in blood. The British Rangers' most notable operations to date include training missions in Ukraine, Ghana and Norway. But here's the twist that's going to infuriate both sides. Maybe they're both right. Maybe the world needs both types of Rangers. Now, we get to the part that's going to have keyboard warriors on both sides absolutely losing their minds. Whose selection is harder? The British Ranger Assessment Cadre is a 2-week programme that includes a 100-kilometre patrol under duress, a 9-mile loaded march carrying over 20 kilograms on day 1, and assessments of emotional intelligence, resilience and teamwork. Sounds tough, right? The American RASP-1 is 8 weeks of pure hell. Candidates must endure physical and mental endurance, road marches, land navigation, leadership skills and weapon training, while under food and sleep deprivation, basically being pushed to their absolute limits. British viewers will immediately point out that their selection emphasises mental attributes and emotional intelligence, qualities essential for working with partner forces. American viewers will counter that RASP's longer duration and higher attrition rate proves it's more demanding. But here's the controversial truth. They're selecting for different things. The British are looking for soldiers who can build relationships, operate independently and think strategically. The Americans are looking for soldiers who can follow orders, work as a team and execute complex operations under extreme stress. Neither approach is wrong, but they produce very different types of warriors. After selection, comes training. And this is where the differences become even more pronounced. British Rangers who pass RAC attend the 10-week All-Arms Ranger course, followed by 8 months of battalion level training. Total pipeline? Roughly 10 months. American Rangers complete RASP, then immediately join their battalions for an on-the-job training in the Big Five philosophy: marksmanship, physical training, medical training, small unit tactics and mobility. Many will later attend Ranger School, a separate 61-day leadership course that's not required for regiment membership but is highly encouraged. Here's where British viewers will get defensive. Their training pipeline is longer and more comprehensive. American viewers will argue that their system produces combat-ready Rangers faster, with additional training available as needed. The controversy intensifies when you consider that British Rangers train extensively in languages, cultural awareness and partner force integration, skills that American Rangers typically don't emphasise until much later in their careers, if at all. But American Rangers train in direct action tactics, close quarters combat and high intensity operations that British Rangers may never encounter in their advisory roles. This chapter is going to trigger every gear enthusiast in the audience. The US 75th Ranger Regiment has access to some of the most advanced military equipment on the planet: cutting-edge night vision, specialised weapon systems, advanced communications gear and dedicated aviation support. The British Rangers, they're still figuring out their equipment tables. As a new unit, they're working with modified standard British Army kit, though they're gradually receiving specialised equipment suited to their unique mission set. American viewers will see this as proof of superior capability and funding. British viewers will argue that their Rangers are more adaptable and less dependent on high-tech solutions. But here's the real controversy. Equipment doesn't make the warrior. The most advanced night vision in the world won't help you if you can't build trust with a foreign partner force. Conversely, all the cultural training in the world won't save you if you can't shoot straight when things go sideways. This is the chapter that's going to have British viewers absolutely furious and American viewers feeling vindicated. The combat records aren't even close. US Rangers have participated in every major American military operation since World War II. They scaled the cliffs at Pointe du Hoc on D-Day, conducted the air raid at Cabanatuan in the Philippines, spearheaded the invasion of Grenada, fought in Somalia, and have been continuously engaged in combat operations for over 2 decades in Iraq and Afghanistan. The statistics are sobering. 813 battle-injured casualties and 62 killed in action between 2001 and 2021 alone. These aren't numbers on a spreadsheet. They represent real sacrifice and proven capability under fire. The British Rangers, by comparison, have conducted training missions and exercises. Their most significant deployments have been to Ukraine before the invasion, Ghana and Norway. No combat operations, no battle casualties, and no proven track record under fire. American viewers will see this as case closed. You can't compare a proven battle combat unit to one that's never been tested. British viewers will argue that their Rangers are designed for different missions, and that combat isn't the only measure of military effectiveness. But here's the uncomfortable truth for British supporters. Until the Ranger Regiment proves itself in actual combat, this comparison will always favour the Americans. So where does this leave us? Are the British Rangers a revolutionary approach to modern warfare, or are they a solution in search of a problem? Are the US Rangers an irreplaceable strategic asset, or are they dinosaurs clinging to outdated tactics? The answer, as much as it will frustrate viewers on both sides, is probably both. The world is changing. The era of large-scale conventional warfare may be ending, replaced by grey zone operational proxy conflicts and the need for subtle influence rather than overwhelming force. In this environment, the British approach of building partner capacity and operating discreetly may prove more valuable than the American emphasis on direct action. But the world is also dangerous. Terrorists still operate, hostages still need to be rescued, and sometimes you need warriors who can kick down doors and eliminate threats with extreme prejudice. In these situations, the proven capability of the US Rangers remains irreplaceable. The real controversy isn't which unit is better, it's whether there's room for both approaches in modern warfare doctrine. The Americans have proven that their way works through decades of successful operations. The British are betting that their way will work better for future challenges. Time will tell who's right, but one thing is certain: both units represent the absolute pinnacle of their respective military traditions, and both deserve respect for the sacrifices their members make in service of their nations. The debate will continue in the comments, where I'm sure both British and American viewers will passionately defend their Rangers. And honestly, that's exactly as it should be. These warriors have earned their loyalty through their dedication, professionalism and willingness to serve in the most dangerous places on earth. Rangers lead the way, whether they're wearing tan berets or gunmetal grey ones. Now go and check out our other comparison videos on the Marines and paratroopers. That's an order. Hi soldiers, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comments, and check out our merch and membership programs. And don't forget to check back in again soon. That's an order.